I was the chubby kid that always finished last around the track, okay? So several years later and pounds later, I took up running. Before I thought, you know, I'm not a runner, I can't do it, but I decided I was going to do it. And so I started with just running around the track, and I got myself up to 5K, and I got myself up to 10K, and then I gave myself the goal of doing a half marathon. And I joined this running club because I wanted to learn how on earth do you train for a half marathon. So I joined this group, and on the very first day of the class, the coach said, okay, I really recommend that you get some partners to do your long runs with, to help with the motivation of it. So I met these two ladies that night, and they were awesome, and we lived fairly close together, so we decided to get together that weekend. So we met up and we decided to go on a beautiful country run in Stouffville. And just so you can visualize it, it was early spring, the sun was shining, blue, beautiful sky. The fields were like muddy with little patches of snow. The trees were bare, and it was just a gorgeous day. So today, that day, we were going to do the longest run I'd ever done, which was 14 kilometers. So we were going, enjoying the run, enjoying the conversation, and at around the halfway point, I started to sweat, get that heat, and then I started feeling this, and my stomach started cramping up. I'm like, oh God, I gotta go. Like, I gotta go, like one of those moments where I gotta go now, like now. So, first of all, like fear of like judgment comes up. I'm like, oh God, what am I gonna tell these girls that I just met? And then also the fear of, where the hell am I gonna go? So, like I look around and I see like fields, more fields. And then off in the distance, I see this little farmhouse. And across from it, I see a mini forest, like if you can call it that. It was a forest, but the trees were like I have thongs bigger than the size of these trees, right? So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to the farmhouse. So I tell these ladies what I have to do, and they're like, are you crazy? What if it's like an axe murder or something? And I'm like, I don't care! They can kill me and be better than this! So I make it there. They're following behind me to make sure I'm safe. And I knock on the door, and so, thank goodness, like this sweet little lady answers the door. She's like, what can I do for you, dear? And I tell her, like, I need to use your facilities. She's like, yeah, go right ahead. So I use her bathroom, and I have to tell you, it was a small farmhouse, and she didn't have matches or spray. I just permeated every square inch of this lady's house, and I have to walk out of the bathroom now. But anyways, I'm like, okay. So I did. I walked out of the bathroom, and she just smiled at me. And then my two friends were at the door, just waiting. I'm like, hi. I'm like, thank you. You know, thank you so much. And so, like, we go out of the house, and the only thing the two girls said to me was, so, like, what did you have for breakfast? I'm like, I had orange juice and a banana. And they're like, oh, like maybe you want to change something there. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. Okay, well, let's just keep running. So, anyways, my story doesn't end there, because the very next week, we went on the same run. And I can't believe this, but at the exact same point, what happens to me? I start sweating. I'm like, no way! I should have had a banana! I was like, please don't ask me what I had for breakfast, because I didn't have a banana. So I'm like, okay. I'm not knocking on the lady's house again. Like, I cannot do that. So I'm like, forest it is. I'm like, okay, girls, you just keep on running, and I'm just I'll catch up to you. So I go to the forest and find a tree, and hoping that at least the crack is covered. And I didn't have any toilet paper or Kleenex or anything, so I used my underwear, and I left it behind. And now, I have seen underwear in the woods before, and I thought that it was like a couple having crazy sex. Couldn't find their underwear. up to them and still sweating a bit. So I catch up to them, and my story doesn't end there because we kept running, and I'm telling you, not even like 2 minutes later, I got the second wave. I'm like, no way! So I'm like, whoa, okay, now where we are now, during this run, all there were fields, that's all there were, open fields. So I'm like, okay ladies, keep running! Don't look back, please, don't look back! And I like just chose a patch right here. The road is right there, praying no one drives by. And I'm just like, okay, I'm feeling like a dog right now. And I do my thing, and I didn't have any underwear left. So I'm like, my bra is like $30. There's no way I'm using this puppy. So I used some mushy leaves, and then I just found a little patch of snow. Just trying to clean myself off, you know. So I'm going to tell you, yes, it was embarrassing, but I did learn a lot. I did, okay? So for me, bananas, not a good idea before going for a run. I didn't make that mistake again. But I also learned it's really important to keep Kleenex, toilet paper on hand, because who knows what might trigger, right? If you're running a lot, it's going to be flushing stuff out, right? So having Kleenex is a good thing. But I also learned that life is going to dish you experiences where your fears are going to come up, fears of failure, fears of judgment, fears of the unknown. What the hell am I going to do with this one? So these experiences are going to come up, and it's important for you to just like, okay, I'm just going to step through this. This is me, and this is what you got. And so I've had a lot of embarrassing moments in my life, so I've had a lot of practice with being able to step through this. Running's been really helpful for those moments. It really has been. So I've also learned that I need to laugh at myself. So that is my next insight. Laugh at yourself.